Hello. Hello everybody on YouTube. My name is David. This is my first video. Alright. I just wanted to share with you a funny story I had. Funny encounter. One of my embarrassing another stories I have. Well, I made a video before, but I made it too long, so I'm just going to try to cut to it. I go to Calvary Church. I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so I'm going to church. It's Wednesday night about 6 o'clock, and I had to stop at a Hess gas station and get gas, and then as I'm coming out, when I paid, this homeless guy there, I seen him at my restaurant I work at, because I serve at a restaurant. He's always back there, and some of the cooks give him food and stuff. It's pretty cool, and they call him Catfish. Uh, he has like catfish gums and teeth. I think that's why they call him Catfish. I don't know, but so anyway, as I'm going back to my car, he says hi to me, and then I'm sure he was going in there to buy beer or whatever, so as he comes to me, he asks me where I'm going. So he said, well, I'm going to church. And he asked me, can I go? I said, uh, okay, yeah, you know where this is leading already, right? Okay, so I was like, okay, whatever, let's go to church. You want to go to church? All right, it's good for you. And so we're going. He calls his friend. I forgot his friend's name. It's like Jim Bean or something, or I don't know if it's over alcoholic beverage or whatever his name was. We get in my car. They're putting up the volume to the max limit and blowing my speakers with rock and roll, but I don't care because they're not in cars so much. They're always walking 800,000 miles. So I was like, okay, let's whatever, I'll go with it. But they were drinking in my car. So I had thoughts about not bringing them to church, like everybody else would. I think a lot of people wouldn't even have them in their car, to be honest, have a homeless person. But, you know what, whatever. They're people, just like me and you. They just got no money. I don't got money either, so, as I'm going, I'm just like, all right, let's do this. Let's test people and see what they'll do, and see if they freak out at church, see if they're mean or nice. Let's test somebody's faith. Then, but I'm really going there just to help them out because they want to go to church. So I was like, okay. So we get to church. He's talking to some people, and we're walking. He's really drunk though. And anyways, we get into church, and they're using the bathrooms first, after drinking 400 beers. And so we get into the church, and we're walking, and he wants to sit right in the front of the aisle. So I was like, oh, okay, let's do this. And we sat in the front of the aisle. He ended up knowing a girl because he sold newspapers on the street on Federal Highway, and he been selling them for like 30 years, so people knew him. And then worship came on, and he started doing like air guitar, he was playing it out, and he was dancing, and I was having a good time, whatever. And he's, lifting up his hand, and, it was alright. And then, after the worship, everything was cool, but after the worship, singing and everything, he had to go to the bathroom again. So I was like, alright, go ahead. And after thinking of a minute, I was like, let me follow this guy to the bathroom. And as I'm going, people are have their hands up praising God and everything, and this guy is going down the aisle and high-fiving every person in the aisle, and people are just like freaking out a little bit, and I'm like bursting in tears because I'm just laughing. I mean, you don't see that every day. And the ushers were like, on their speakers, 10-4, we got some guy crazy, whatever. They're all serious, like the only serious thing that has ever happened in that church, I'm sure. And as we walk out, the guy comes out. He's like, oh yeah, my name is this and this, and uh, those guys were with you, and looking at me like all mad and pissed. I was like, yeah, they're with me, I thought I'd take them to get some word in them, and so they're like, well, we're gonna bring them to the cafeteria, and so we bring him to the cafeteria. Well, his one friend is already sitting down, still in the church. I left his other buddy in there, and he's kind of a quiet guy. And so, I go there and try to get in the aisle to get him, but they won't let me because the video's playing. So they're just like, no, you can't. They're all serious and already pissed at me already. And finally, I sit down like in the middle and then he starts walking because he obviously knows we're not there for about a half an hour. And then we all go in the cafeteria. As I get there, and I go with this guy that was with him. The guy Catfish is eating off people's plates, and he has stuff all over his mouth. And the guys are like, "Are they kicked out yet?" And they come and they get him, and they're like, he's like, "Well, I didn't do anything. I didn't ask anybody for money." And the guy's like, "Well, you're slapping people's hands down the aisle." I was like, "Oh, gee." He's like, "You can't be this wasted." And he started kind of making the guy get mad. Now you know how they are. They don't really care. And anyways, they are all the one guy was pretty pissed off, but everybody was. And of course, I'm in the corner like just giggling because really I'm embarrassed to the max point I could already be. And I'm sure you guys are already thinking, why would this kid, this stupid guy, bring these guys in? I know, I understand, but you know what? I wanted to. It felt like a new day. I just wanted to try something out. It was something that a lot of people wouldn't do, so I was like, okay, maybe something good could happen. And I guess it didn't, but I had a great time. I thought it was really hilarious. I'll always remember that story. And after we left, of course, I dropped them off somewhere, and they had to pick up more beer. And oh, I think one of the guy, pooed his pants, because yeah, it was a horrible smell in my car, and just embarrassing, very embarrassing moment. But I did what I had to do. I hope you got a kick out of the story. I wanted to share it with you. Thanks for listening. And you know what? I'll bring up a lot of more stories later on because I work at restaurants. I'm always around people, and I meet just crazy people every day in Fort Lauderdale. But it's kind of a blessing to meet everybody and to see who's out there. It's a lot of fun. So, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you. Have a good one.